If you're not able to wake up every single day and get, kicked in the face and then smile afterwards, then it's going to be very hard for you to find success. And I think every entrepreneur knows, like, even when your business is going amazing, every day it's a crazy new challenge.
Hey, this is Jesse here, and you're about to hear the Sweepstakes roundtable episode featuring Trevor Pope from the Money Factory, Zach Bruch from MyPrize, and Jeff Laniado from Optimove. As founders of Sweepstakes Casinos launched earlier this year, Trevor and Zach shared their perspectives on the opportunity presented by the Sweepstakes model, the role that social experiences play for users of their respective products, how each of them are marketing to their audiences and acquiring players, how they see the competitive dynamic playing out within the sweeps category, their approach to risk-taking as entrepreneurs, and much, much more. Zach and Trevor were awesome guests, and this was a fun discussion that provided unique insight into the rapidly growing sweepstakes casino category.
The Betting Startups podcast is presented by Optimove, the #1 CRM marketing solution for the iGaming market. 4 out of the top 5 US operators personalize player experiences with Optimove. Learn more about Optimove by requesting a demo at optimove.com/bettingstartups. If you like what you see, you'll get your first month free.
All right, we are back on the Betting Startups podcast, and this episode is a little bit of a different format in that we have a roundtable discussion here focused on a specific segment within the industry, which is sweepstakes. And we have representatives from multiple different companies here to go deep on this topic with us. So to start with introductions today, I'd like to first of all introduce Jeff from Optimove, and listeners and viewers of this podcast will probably be familiar with the Optimove name by this point, which is the headline sponsor of the Betting Startups podcast. And we are very grateful to Optimove for their support, which allows me to spend so much of my time talking with cool founders and entrepreneurs building within the real money gaming space. So to kick us off here today, let's have Jeff from Optimove introduce himself and tell us a little bit about why he thought this episode would be a good one to put together.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Jesse. So excited to be here. Excited to be chatting with 2 great founders and 2 Optimove clients as well. By way of introduction, I've been with Optimove for about 5 years now. I'm based in North Jersey, right outside New York City, and I oversee our gaming accounts across the US and Canada. And, the first probably 3.5, 4 years of my tenure was primarily focused on the real money gaming space, online sports books, casinos, lotteries. And the last 12 plus months has been primarily focused on sweepstakes. So that was sort of the impetus for us having this interview today, bringing a couple of our clients and talking about the craze that is sweepstakes.
Well, thanks for putting this one together for us, Jeff. And let's kick it over to Zach Bruch, who joins us from MyPrize. Zach, welcome to the Betting Startups pod. For the benefit of the audience, maybe you can give us a quick introduction on yourself and maybe some of the chapters of your journey, which for my money is a really fascinating one. Prior to starting MyPrize, give us a bit of a sense of who you are and what you've done up until founding MyPrize.
Cool. Well, it's great to be here, Jesse. I'm Zach Bruch, CEO and founder of MyPrize. MyPrize US is an online sweeps casino. We work with numerous content creators to come onto the platform and open up to their audiences where their audience wants to play with them. We now have thousands and thousands of users playing with us every single day. So it's been a lot of fun. The casino and online sweeps gaming went live at the end of May, and we've seen growth to the tune of doubling month over month since then. So it's been very exciting. Prior to MyPrize, I founded a slew of other businesses. Some went great, some not great. That's the nature of being an entrepreneur. Initially, I got my start in the crypto industry, where I was at Kraken many years ago. Kraken is today one of the largest crypto exchanges. I helped build their trading desk. From there, I went to a traditional trading firm called DRW, where I oversaw the sales trading desk there at the crypto group as well, growing that to become one of the largest crypto trading desks. Then I left to go out on my own and run my own trading book. And then I too became one of the largest crypto traders. Unfortunately, I was the largest individual creditor to FTX, but hopefully that saga is almost wrapped up and all the creditors will be getting a lot of their cash back. But it's been quite the journey. And myself and my team have been working together for most of us almost 5 years, some of us even more than that. And we decided to build in this space over a year ago now. And it's been awesome to see how it's developed and how it's changing. And we're really excited for what we're able to accomplish here.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today, Zach. And last but not least, Trevor Pope joins us. And, Trevor, you have a couple different aspects to your business, but why don't you start us off today by introducing yourself and, again, a bit of a sense of your background and journey up until founding the Money Factory.
Yeah, so again, Trevor Pope, thanks for having me. Co-founder of the Money Factory, CEO as well. Journey is very similar to Zach's, actually. Background was poker to business to crypto, and poker kind of led into the crypto space, and their development started about around a year ago, launched May, so it's Zach, and it's been a really exciting time just with this space. It's just growing massively, month after month, and it's fun to see, people getting interested and finding a way to enter the space. And it's just every day, it's something new that we're seeing, and that led to the new venture, which is us developing the sweepstakes platforms as well for clients. So yeah, excited to be here and happy to chat today.
You guys have very similar backgrounds, as you've just both alluded to, and as well as like timelines for your respective companies. I guess maybe to kick us off today, what I'd love to hear a little bit more about is like, what was the impetus for each of you guys to jump into the arena with sweepstakes and launch social casino products, right? I mean, there's a ton of things you guys could be doing with your time, yet you've chosen to sort of ride this wave of sweepstakes-based gaming. What was it about this specific opportunity that compelled you to take your next chapter here within this space? Trevor, why don't you kick us off with this one?
Yeah, so for me, I wasn't really too knowledgeable on the sweepstakes space when I, encountered it. I had a friend that was also in the crypto industry. He asked if I wanted to partner with him, and I did my own research and I saw the growth, and I saw that the space is a really good opportunity. Really just comes down to customer acquisition, in my opinion, and I thought that I'd be able to help a lot with that. So, it was really just the opportunity. I look at this as essentially the pre-crypto days or the DraftKings fantasy sports type days, and the trends are always changing, and this is a trend that I thought was really picking up, and I thought it was a great opportunity.
If you look at the gambling space more broadly, at least when I was looking at it, I was looking and saying, why isn't there more activity happening online? Because you're seeing DraftKings is growing. Of course, there's Flutter and FanDuel, which is massive. These are massive businesses, sports betting, massive. And then you're wondering, why isn't there this large activity in the US? Even more broadly, even offshore, online casino is not really as large as you might think it could be. It really hasn't had its internet moment in the way that other industries really have. And a lot of that is due to regulation, right? So that was stifled. So when we were first looking at this industry as a team, my whole team collectively was looking at different industries that we felt we can really succeed in. We realized that you have a heavy stigma industry, an industry that really requires a lot of detail and also precision. And so when you think about a sweeps casino or online casino in general, you need to think of a few things, some of which is user accounts, right? So actually building user accounts, about things like KYC and AML, right? Know your customer and anti-money laundering, chargeback risk, fraud risk management in itself. So actually managing the risk of a casino. And when we looked at our entire team's background, we come from building exchanges, we come from building trading desks. This is all infrastructure that built time and time again have been so close to. So our view was we can go into this industry that has been, there has not been so much innovation from a product standpoint. There are a lot of great players in this space that are monetizing and doing well. But from a product standpoint, there's this massive opportunity to bring best-in-class payments, best-in-class user accounts, best-in-class infrastructure, best-in-class risk management. And we had the team to go do that. So we saw a tremendous amount of opportunity and had the right team to go tackle the issue.
Awesome. Well, let's stick with you for a second here, Zach, because as you alluded to at the outset here, within the US anyways, MyPrize has gone to market with a sweepstakes-based model, which presumably is largely around the sort of regulatory framework that's in place. Outside of the US, however, you have a slightly different version of the product, which does have a crypto tie-in, and there's pretty different businesses, the two models. I'm just curious, sort of, for you holistically looking at those two business models in parallel, how do you size up the respective opportunities of each, right? Like the sweepstakes-based model within the US versus a crypto-based model in jurisdictions where you can offer crypto-based products?
So first of all, it's totally two separate entities, right? So we have MyPrize US, MyPrize.us, whereas it's an online sweeps casino, and MyPrize.com, which is, an online casino. So totally separate businesses completely. And as we think about the opportunity and where we want to play, we've actually been focusing a lot of our effort and energy today in the US in the sweeps market. Reason being is right now offshore, it's very saturated, right? There's tons of competition. And in the US, in the sweeps side of things, you feel there's a lot more opportunity, mainly because it is much harder to innovate and it's much harder for folks to participate in the States, especially if you're participating offshore. So you can go into the States And if you can do a really good job and connect from a product level, you can capture a very valuable market. As well, when we're looking at these US markets, the wallet size is much larger, typically. So the US is a very valuable market. We think there's a tons of room for innovation within the sweeps ecosystem. And for us, it was about how can we innovate on the product side in the US and grow a very strong US sweeps business. And so that's where a lot of our focus is today. Obviously, we have another business that is doing offshore online casino, and we'll continue to grow that business too. But most of our effort is in scaling the US business today.
Trevor, over to you. So in addition to your B2C business with the Money Factory, in parallel to that, you also have a B2B platform you offer under the brand Gamma Sweep, which is enabling other companies to offer sweepstakes-based products or I guess competitions. Talk a bit about just what you have in market on the B2B side. And again, from sort of a sizing the opportunity perspective, how do you look at the B2C opportunity with the Money Factory versus, what the opportunities are for you on the B2B side with Gamma Sweep?
Yeah, so Gamma Sweep is a development company and consulting company, essentially helping people navigate the process of launching their own sweepstakes platform. I mean, sweepstakes is a concept that's been around for a long time. The thing that's changing these days is it's evolving into this new tech space. And as Zach mentioned, it is essentially a dinosaur. It was at a dinosaur stage. Everything was outdated and it just needs to be enhanced. So, when you're bringing in the best technology and it's going to give the customer experience, or it's going to improve that customer experience. So when I was developing my casino, I saw all the hurdles that I went through. I knew where the pain points were from the legal side of things, from marketing. And I saw it as an opportunity to essentially help people that may already be in the sweepstakes space under maybe not in the online space, but gas stations and sweepstakes are a huge thing right now. So we see an opportunity where these people have a large client base and we're able to help navigate those hurdles that I went through, that I'm sure Zach went through as well. And, streamline the process to what took me many months to just a month or two. That's our goal, is to essentially, hold someone's hand from start to finish, make them feel comfortable, make the introductions, and, revamp what they already have. They have a good product, they have a good client base, but they're missing out on the customer experience of, what the best games are, what the best processes are. So, that's where Gamma Sweep, I think, really strives in order to build that product.
Cool. And let's shift over to talk about product here, guys. I think from my perspective, right, surveying the landscape right now and the proliferation of these different sweepstakes-based products that are coming to market, the one common denominator for me as I look across the entire ecosystem is the sense that they're all adding some amount of social engagement to the experience, right? And look, let's be honest here, the word social gets thrown around a lot and there's different meanings to it. And, it gets a little bit watered down at times. I'm curious for each of you guys with your respective products, how are you thinking about social? And I guess what makes your respective products truly social? And maybe what are you guys doing differently from a perspective to really tap in to that social dynamic? Zach, let's get you to kick this one off for us.
So if you look at all the sweeps casinos, or really all the online casinos, everyone has the same games. Really, we're all working with the same providers, more or less. Our users want to go and engage and play the same slots, the same baccarat, the same blackjack. And so as you look at all the sweeps casinos, how you are differentiating on the product really does potentially make a massive difference. So for us, there's a couple of things. You mentioned social. How do you create that social flywheel? That's something that we ask ourselves. There's a couple of things that we really focus on. We want to be amazing at purchases, right? So if you're going and you're buying your gold coins, we want to make sure that that's a very fast process for you. And if you're withdrawing your prizes, we want to make that as quick as possible. So redemption, extremely fast. That allows for a fast flywheel, inherently right away. And then as we're thinking about social features, that's how we make sure our business is not just a commodity, because otherwise every online sweeps casino is just a commodity. So I think Trevor's touching on it by actually building, Gamma Sweeps, that he's building a platform, and all that platform's then going to go support all these other casinos. For us, we built our own platform. So we're not beholden to any provider at all. And we can go and innovate consistently on our product, change things, tune things, tweak things, no matter what, and not have to wait for anyone to make changes. And so that's a benefit we have versus other sweeps casinos that are leveraging, one platform, and then their product remains very, very similar. Not that that's not a great business. I'm sure it's a great business for Trevor because people want to spin things up fast. But for us, we're able to innovate differently on the product side. Some of the social features that we're working on and have put out are things like play together, right? So in the US, you have the ability to play together with your favorite streamers. Just this past week, we had a streamer called Mr. Clean. He had 30 folks playing concurrently with him. playing behind him and participating and engaging and having a great time. And so that creates incredible retention for the user base, but it also creates an amazing opportunity for the content creators. Because here they are, content creators looking for tons of ways to monetize, but also ways to engage with their community. And by being able to play together and live stream their play on our platform, it really opens up that world for them. I mean, it was pretty crazy. On that stream, on one of those streams, someone from Mr. Clean's community actually was live streaming at the wedding, right? Was actually watching the stream at their wedding and playing with Mr. Clean. And it's amazing to see. And it shows you how large these people's communities are, the streamers' communities are, and how they want to get involved and be active. So we are thinking of tons of social features like that to get the communities going. Of course, we have live chat and we're doing things of that nature, but we're going to continue to expand and make sure that what we are doing is making it easy for our users to share their big wins, share their content with their friends and family and folks they like sharing their big wins with, and of course, make it easy for them to play.
Awesome. Trevor, how about from your side with the Money Factory?
From a social standpoint, I think more and more of the gaming space is shifting into the social. I mean, whether it's the gamification, the player communities, leaderboards, competitions, people love this social interaction of I'm the top dog, or I have the biggest jackpot today, or on this game, whatever. So for us, it's really, we're trying to build an experience where people do feel special, that they can share, what they're doing. A lot of people may not be social in nature, but when you put them in the online environment, they become a different person. It lets them essentially have this new personality where they feel confident and they're proud to, they enjoy this game, whether it's playing for 5 minutes, whether it's playing for 5 hours, they really enjoy it. And it's the psychology of being able to share what you're doing, sharing what you're winning. We're in a modern day playground at the end of the day. We are able to enhance that playground for people. And, we always want to make it better. And I agree with a lot of what Zach says, is that this space is just becoming more and more social and more interactive with the streamers. I mean, it's such a big topic now on different streaming platforms of what these people are playing and their followers. And it's really exciting to see. So I think the social aspect is something that hasn't been around in the past, and that, a lot of the real money casinos have kind of missed the ball on, and what, I think we're taking advantage of.
I want to talk about marketing as well. I would normally ask a marketing question here, but because we have Jeff from Optimove here, and Optimove, of course, being such a core part of the MarTech stack for so many operators, you guys included, I thought I'd kick it over to Jeff to maybe tee up a marketing-led question for you. So Jeff, over to you.
Zach, you touched on it a little bit from a product perspective, but how do you view marketing as an opportunity to differentiate in what's becoming an increasingly competitive industry?
So marketing is extremely important in this industry, and data on how to market is very important in this industry, because as I mentioned, a lot of the operators, right? So a lot of the sweeps casinos have a lot of the same games. So your users, your players can go and play on different platforms, on different online casinos if they want to. So how do you keep them engaged? How do you think about retention? And how do you make sure that you're delivering them something that they want? So Jeff, you're here, but there's a reason we enjoy Optimove. It's because it helps us really understand how our players are engaging and how we can actually target specific cohorts to make sure that we are providing them the best gameplay experience on our site. And so as we think about marketing, we look at it, there's paid, there's social, there's organic. And so this industry has been around for years. Paid marketing is very systematic. It's math, right? It's what's the CAC and what's the LTV. And as you think about other things where you can really differentiate and drive your CAC down is how you're expanding on the organic side of things. And that's why we created Bet Together and Play Together here in the US, Bet Together, an offshore product, Play Together here in the US, in that these content creators that are wanting to engage with their audience and their user base are actually able to go and stream on our platform. They're able to come and put their kick stream on, you can stream natively on our site and bring their audience, onboard their audience and engage with them, and then create this organic flywheel as well. So when we're thinking about marketing, we're thinking about organic, we're thinking about paid, we're thinking about social. And then of course, we then think about how are we then retaining them, keeping these folks engaged, and then making sure that we are listening to their feedback and then retargeting. And at the end of the day, our entire goal is to create the most fun and engaging experience for our users to play every day. And the special tools that we have on the marketing side and our ability to connect with them is our differentiator.
Trevor, anything you want to add there?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, marketing is, it's just data, as Zach had said. And that's how we look at things is, yes, we are an online social casino, but we're really just a data company. We hold all this data that we collect, and we watch the player behavior, and we really try to target the user based on what their behavior is. And the better you understand that behavior with a platform like Optimove, the lower customer acquisition cost that you're going to have in the future. It's a learning process, but once you have the data doesn't lie. So if you follow the data, it's going to lead you to a lower customer acquisition cost. It's going to lead to a better lifetime value of the customer, and it's going to lead to profitability at the end of the day.
Let's zoom out a little bit. I want to talk about just some broader trends, right? And get your guys' takes on this, because look, there's a ton of new entrants coming into the sweeps category now. I mean, both of your respective products have been in market for, roughly 6 months now. Just this week at the time of recording, we've seen the launch of one new entrant. Over the last few months, we've seen a couple regulated US sportsbooks pivot their models into sweepstakes-based models. So there's a bit of a rush into this category right now. And I'm curious, as you guys are building your business and I guess sort of looking ahead multiple years down the road, how do you see the dynamic of this category playing out, right? Do you see it potentially going the way of sports betting operators where market share consolidates down to, a short handful number of operators? Or do you see there being a lot of brands that are all thriving and succeeding? Just sort of how do you, I guess, map the trajectory for the dynamic of this category? Zach, let's get you to kick us off with this one.
Right now, I think in the market today, there's a handful of big players on the online sweep side. I think over the next 6 months, there's a window for new large players to continue to emerge. After that, I think it's going to be a lot harder because you're seeing large traditional players want to enter the space, as you mentioned, whether it's from, the daily fantasy sports side or the regulated gaming side or free-to-play side, public markets, free-to-play gaming businesses. You have all sorts of folks that want to come in and enter the business. When more people come in, tax potentially are driven up or should be driven up because there's, it's more expensive to reach your audience while you're competing against larger folks and more folks. It's going to get a lot more competitive. So acquiring users today is extremely important, and I believe it's going to get a lot more competitive in the next 6 months. That being said, something else happened in this industry over the past handful of months. A year and change ago, when both Trevor and I Trevor, I think you started your business as well, just over a year ago. But when we were starting our business, there was a lot of uncertainty with sweeps. Actually, the large players did not want to touch it, did not want to go in. And now you're seeing, as the past month or two, the large players do want to go in. So I think what you're going to start seeing is the next 6 months, new leaders might emerge. Really great online sweeps casinos will have a really strong chance to find great success on their own. But I believe from 6 months from today to 20 months from today, you'll start seeing actual consolidation and potentially M&A opportunities amongst smaller online sweeps casinos and other large players and entrants that want to get involved in this space. And so I think that's going to be really interesting because there has not been M&A actively in this space at all. So how are people thinking about pricing a business like this? How do you look at it? The next questions is how durable is sweeps? How many years out is a business like this going to last, right? All these are going to be questions. And then as you think about it for like one of the daily fantasy sports player, having and bringing in an online sweeps casino is so valuable to them, right? Because you're bringing in tons of new top line revenue. You're bringing in tons of new profitability. You're bringing in tons of new user bases. Plus, you can push your existing user base that you're bringing in from the sports side into casino, which is just a fantastic business that also doesn't have the seasonality of the NFL as examples. So I think you're going to see a lot of the daily fantasy sports players, as well as the large free-to-play folks, want to enter this space, want to get aggressive, and want to try to do M&A and acquire businesses that are thriving and have been able to find success. So I think that's what the landscape is going to look like. And I think both Trevor and myself and a lot of the other new entrants in the space have a very unique opportunity over the next handful of months to really establish ourselves as other large players in the industry.
Awesome. Trevor, how do you see things shaking out over the next little while? Does it map to Zach's perspective there? Do you have other thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think it does on a lot of points. I mean, I think it's going to be an increased barrier to entry. It's compliance is getting tougher. We see it from a development standpoint when we're building social casinos for people and we're walking through all the steps. So we're making the introductions, something that somebody didn't need a month ago, and now they need 3 more things. So it's adding a lot of legal complexities, and the approval process is just getting tougher. But it's also a really good opportunity for established players like myself and Zach, who are already in the space, that have robust compliance systems and the legal infrastructures in place. I think we're really well positioned to thrive in a more regulated market. And, essentially what's happening now is I think that a lot of third parties, they're trying to weed out the less prepared players that are trying to come into the space. People see this as a really good opportunity, but you want to weed those out for the bad actors that should be in the space. So I think that's the biggest thing. I think the space is going to continue to thrive for the near future, but I think that it's going to be, a lot more compliance and more barriers. So that's what I would kind of give my opinion on.
I want to get your guys' perspective as well on just the matrix of risk versus reward, right? And look, with each of your backgrounds, Zach, with you on the, trading crypto at the scale that you have, and Trevor, for you playing professional poker at the level you have, obviously you're both very attuned to taking big risks and potentially seeing the rewards as a result of taking that risk. But through the prism of entrepreneurship, right, there's different degrees of risk taking. I'm just curious, to get your guys' perspectives on sort of how you personally view the risk reward matrix as an entrepreneur, and specifically, I guess, as you're building out your current businesses. Just sort of how do you think about, I guess, that trade-off of risk versus reward? And Trevor, why don't you get us started with this one?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to being an entrepreneur, I think risk is something that you have to understand. You have to fail. Yeah, I mean, not everything's going to be, if you're not failing, you're not trying enough new things. So, we've learned over time that certain things just work, certain things just don't work. We have become, in our business, a very data-driven business. Look at the numbers, look at the data, and react to the data. If the data is telling you to, not offer this, stop offering it. Don't try to prove the data wrong. So I think as long as you're okay with failing and understanding that, you have to fail in order to improve, I think that it opens a lot of doors for success.
So I think when we think about risk as an entrepreneur, we're just really understanding what is the risk? And typically when you're doing that, it's like, should I start this business or not? And as I think the hardest thing for any person or any entrepreneur is actually doing the thing. Most people have incredible ideas, but don't do any, right? So actually sitting down at the poker table in Trevor's case, or myself, actually putting on the trade, that is the hardest part, is actually being willing to take the risk and going ahead and doing it. So I think crossing that is, I think, a big step. But once you're there, how you continuously assess risk, it's your job to minimize risk and maximize reward, period, point blank. So whether that's focusing on data or focusing on and understanding what is the true market size, right? Because you can throw a lot of capital into something, but the market's not there. And so you might have this great idea, but there really is no market opportunity. So it's understanding market opportunity, minimizing all sorts of risk, making sure you have the right team that can build your product, making sure you understand your user base. These are things that we're constantly thinking about and assessing. And then you have to be willing to fail. Broadly, throughout being an entrepreneur, that's something, right? If you're not able to wake up every single day and get, kicked in the face and then smile afterwards, then it's going to be very hard for you to find success. And I think every entrepreneur knows, even when your business is going amazing, every day it's a crazy new challenge. No matter what, literally there's a new problem every single day. As you grow and as you scale and as your businesses become more successful, the problems don't stop. It just continues. And you have to be willing to have an incredible amount of stamina and have the ability to have stamina to survive. And so when I'm assessing risk, to me, the only risk is, you're doing this or you're not doing that. After that, you're doing it live. You're there, you're assessing things real time, and you're making sure that you have the stamina to do whatever it takes to survive, period. That's how I look at it.
Right on, guys. We're getting towards the finish line here, but before I let you go, let's do a little bit of make-believe here. Pretend you got a crystal ball sitting in front of you. You're looking into it right now, 5 years in the future, with your respective businesses and your wildest dreams. Where are those businesses in 5 years' time? And sort of where do they sit within the broader landscape of real money gaming? Zach, let's get you to kick this one off for us.
Well, hopefully, Jesse, I'll be sponsoring the podcast. That's goal number one. Sorry, Jeff. I want to have the largest online Sweeps casino in the US, right? Period. So in 5 years from today, I think we have a really good shot at doing that. But more importantly, I think we're going to help grow the entire market share of this business. I think that's what's really exciting here, is that by leveraging content creators and working with them to help really empower them as well to find new ways to monetize, we're going to be able to create and help grow a market here in the US. And hopefully we'll be able to see, not only just our business with MyPrize US, but a lot of other sweeps businesses out there grow as the tide rises for everybody. And so that's what I think is going to happen in the next 5 years.
All right, Trevor, you had an extra 30 seconds to think about your answer to that one. What do you got for your 5-year vision?
My vision's kind of been the same since I started. I mean, as I said, I look at this as essentially a pre-crypto, pre-DraftKings type days. So we're one of the first players in the space, myself and Zach. And of course, there are others, but we see this as a space with huge growth potential. And, if it becomes something where we become a market leader or it turns into an IPO or acquisition, I mean, there's a lot of different avenues that we can go, but we see this as a awesome opportunity. And we think that this is going to be a space that it's not on the decline. It's growing day after day. And we hope that, it's a space that does have more regulation and weed out the bad players. And we hope that we're in a similar stage in 5 years that DraftKings was 5 years ago. That's where I'd hope we be.
Excellent, guys. Let's get you to each quickly plug yourselves before we get out of here. Jeff, we'll kick it over to you. Thank you once again for putting this together for us. For folks listening that might be considering their next step on their marketing journey, can you quickly tell them how they can get in touch with you and, evaluate Optimove as a potential solution for them?
Yeah, sure. LinkedIn, probably the best way, or get in touch with Jesse and he can connect us. But yeah, we're talking to more and more Sweeps casinos, Sweeps sports books pretty much every week at this point and talking everything CRM. So.
Awesome. I will also plug optimove.com/betting startups. There is a special offer there for folks that are interested in checking out Optimove. Trevor, for people that want to check out the Money Factory and or Gamma Sweep, get in touch with yourself, discuss collab opportunities, etc. What's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah, get in touch with me. It's going to be the same way. LinkedIn is going to be the most successful, but check out either our sites, gammasweep.com or moneyfactory.com.
Zach?
Check us out at MyPrize.us. If you want to reach me, you can reach me at Zach Bruch on LinkedIn or at Zach Bruch on X, Twitter.
All right, guys, we'll drop links in the show notes to all of those touch points. But for now, we'll tie it off there for today. Really appreciate you guys joining and, enlightening us, I guess, on the journey building your, companies within this exciting new category. Jeff, thank you once again for putting this one together. And we will talk to you guys all soon. Cheers for now.
Thanks, Jesse.
Betting Startups podcast is presented by Optimove, the #1 CRM marketing solution for the iGaming market. 4 out of the top 5 US operators personalize player experiences with Optimove. Learn more about Optimove by requesting a demo at optimove.com/betting startups. And if you like what you see, you'll get your first month free.